Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now October 3rd of 2023, and I think that we could all agree here that this year has been the worst year for Disney, not just because of Bob Iger, but also because of everything that has been happening between the board of directors and their ultimate decision-making process on everything related to budgeting restrictions, the cost containment plan that was initiated by Bob Iger, and let's not forget about all the cutbacks that are going to go active for Disney Plus while also bumping up rates throughout next year. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And one thing about actress Rachel Zegler that has been an unraveling process throughout all of Hollywood from many major studios out there is that a lot of this is all rooted back to all of the things that she said about Snow White 2024/1937 and everything happening with that film, or those, of course, iterations of Snow White, as Bob Iger likes to call it, right? Now, we know that Bob Iger is somebody that is going to keep on defending this movie. He keeps on stating how this has nothing to do with culture wars or anything related to it in that sense. He also lied about quieting down the noise. That was another contradictory thing. However, this is where things begin to get even more intense for Rachel Zegler's banishment from Hollywood, and how this is an ever-evolving process that just keeps getting all the more serious for her career, and I don't believe she's going to have a career, much like the situation of Amber Heard is in right now. So let's get on to the overall scenario of what's going on behind closed doors. Now, with actress Rachel Zegler, the one who created several issues for Disney, one major development has to do with her banishment from Disney and new untold truths about this development. As it turns out, after Zegler made those comments about Andrew Burnap and Snow White 37, this was the final nail in the coffin for Disney to make their decision to alter their film slate by removing her and recasting Zegler for all upcoming projects. Just recently, Disney finalized their decision to replace actress Rachel Zegler from their spy film franchise, which, by the way, will be announced next year, that is currently in active development, that is set to become an all-female-led spy film series to compete against the Mission Impossible films. Now, Zegler was aimed to be the main character in these movies, while also dropping her from World of Witches, a brand new franchise in the works as well. Now, a new franchise that is also in active development by Disney is currently untitled. However, other Hollywood studios like Paramount surprisingly were in the talks of including Rachel Zegler in future Transformers movies. This was going to be Rachel's big stepping stone into action-adventure films, and she was in deep talks with the heads over at Paramount Pictures to expand into both Transformers 8 and 9. These conversations have now gone to a sudden stop at Paramount, as they recently ditched Rachel Zegler from getting an acting role in those films for the Transformers movies, as they, of course, along with other Hollywood studios, have actually seen what she did to Disney, and in return, what Disney did back to her in an attempt to course correct. Now, look, here's the problem at hand, is that I don't know why Rachel Zegler was getting all of these offers so quickly in her career, regardless of having a lot of box office failures. Just for starters, I mean, West Side Story did not do well. Fury of the Gods, aka Shazam 2, was a box office failure for DC. I mean, it was quite the embarrassment. And let alone, Snow White is pretty much a confirmed box office failure, so that's 3 right there. So why in the world would studios like Paramount want to have her involved in Transformers 8 and 9 is beyond me, and how she got those discussions in the first place, and how those were pretty much locked in, where they were going to have her come on board. Now, look, we know that Rachel Zegler seemingly is, of course, one of those actresses that are getting roles right off the bat after just getting like 1 or 2 movie roles that were, in the limelight for a while. Now, we know that everything happening with this process is beyond just Paramount. It's also Universal Studios, and this is where new details come into play here, so let's discuss. So, as it turns out, Universal Studios was aiming to cast Rachel Zegler as Daisy in the Super Mario Bros. Movie sequel, which, by the way, is also in active development. This was a serious conversation that was happening between Zegler and her team with Universal, and all of those conversations have also come to a complete halt, hitting a brick wall. Other studios have also joined in to restrict Zegler from getting acting gigs, with Jenna Ortega taking over many of Zegler's roles for Disney. For example, the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot is still something in progress right now from her agent and manager. Universal, as it turns out, was the first studio to take action in all of this besides Disney and Paramount against Zegler after her problems with Disney and the drama surrounding Snow White 2024. Now, here's the other issue at hand, is that we know that there's a lot of other Hollywood studios that want nothing to do with Rachel Zegler. Apparently Lionsgate is now backing off. They want nothing to do with her after her Hunger Games prequel comes out and about in theaters. Now, the ultimate question I think a lot of people are asking is whether or not the drama following Rachel Zegler is going to deeply impact the box office results for Hunger Games. Alright, now that's not releasing for a number of weeks, but still, it really makes you wonder, will this movie flop? Will it underperform? Will it just break even? Or will it be a box office success just because it's Hunger Games, right? Now look, we know that Rachel Zegler has had a very bad track record so far. If this movie fails, that is really not going to be good at all. In fact, that may very well be a concrete decision for all studios to really just never ever hire Rachel Zegler again. You know, people like Lionsgate are already backing off, and we know that, you know, people like Amber Heard are in a similar situation right now after what happened with her trial with Johnny Depp. That was a whole different tier of nonsense though, however. But when you look at Rachel Zegler, right, this is somebody that has gone on endless rants about people having issues about Snow White and how she was cast for the role. She went on endless rants on social media, on camera before in the past, before the strikes, and I'm sure that she's going to step right back into those rants once the SAG strike comes to an end, quite possibly tomorrow. And the reason why I say tomorrow is that negotiations in Hollywood will resume on Wednesday. They held some meetings yesterday just to fill you guys in, but tomorrow is when everything will resume again. So we'll keep you guys updated about all of that. But overall, Hollywood right now wants nothing to do with Rachel Zegler for the most part. More and more Hollywood studios are jumping in. I think it's quite crazy the fact that Paramount was about to include her in Transformers 8 and 9 and how that was pretty much a locked-in role that they just kicked her out from after learning about what has been happening due to Snow White and due to Disney even removing her from the Snow White drama. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.